Welcome, everyone, to another edition of Jai After Dark. I am Sameem. I'm here with my lovely co-host. What's your name? Sameem and Shabnam are back. Today, we're discussing The White Lotus, Season 3, Episode 6 on HBO Max, and I'm feeling a little handsy.
I mean, you and Saxon.
Or was Lachlan feeling
Yeah, that's
handsy?
right.
I don't think we have the full picture, and I don't think we need to know
They
the
were
full
both
picture.
feeling handsy, so
I think everybody was feeling a little handsy.
it's wild. It was.
I think, yeah. Wild is like underselling it, right?
Yeah, I mean, if I was gonna rename this episode, I would call it Brothers Bang Abroad. But I feel like there's probably another film that's already that title.
That's disgusting.
I mean,
That sounds like the new passport bros movement where American bros are going out of the country to find their long lost loves.
yeah,
Banging bros. What did you call it?
Brothers Bang Abroad.
Oh, actually, let's take that back. That sounds like a bus that goes around downtown Miami.
Oh man.
Hey, that's a 20-year-old reference for me. I don't know if that shit still exists, but I'm going to leave my renaming until the end. Is that okay?
Yeah. So I was going to say, listeners, stay tuned for tea time at the end when Sameem's going to give his title for the episode, and we'll spill some tea on the, inside scoop on some characters in the episode.
I got some good tea, not chai.
Not chai, tea. All right.
Yeah, there's a difference, right?
Yeah, there is a difference.
There you go. I'm going to hold my name until the end because yours is really good.
Okay.
And I feel like the one I came up with throughout this episode where we're talking, I'm going to be taking some notes and I'm going to jot some things down. And by the end of it, I think I'll come up with a good name.
All right. You're gonna
How's
try
that
to
sound?
upgrade
Is that
yours. You competitive ass Desi.
No, I know. Hey, I need to fear poverty, okay?
Yeah.
I need to fear it so bad.
Yeah.
I can't be poor.
You can't be feeling
How dare
okay
you.
about being poor.
Yeah. I have a theory about all this. So we're 60 episodes in, and now my entire Instagram has turned into South Asians talking about all this trauma. Parents just don't understand, right? Will Smith. We've already talked about this. We've been saying this shit since 1984, right? So there's nothing new here for us. However, I think North Carolina has taken the throne away from South Asians for pressureful situations and doing what you have to do in terms of
What you think you
family
have to
dynamics.
Do. Yeah.
Yeah. What you think you have to do.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, what do you think? Like, I think North Carolina is the place you probably don't want to raise your kids. And I actually did some research, and I have more similarities why North Carolina has taken the throne. You are the new South Asian country or culture or pressureful situation that I do not want to be a part of. But I have some more thoughts about North Carolina. I can tell them all right now, or we can pepper it in throughout the
Let's
hour
tell them
that we
all
do
right
this.
now.
Really? Well, I only have two.
Okay, do you want to pepper it in to after we talk about Victoria and what she says?
Yeah, it opens with Timothy,
Yeah.
right? Having a fucking meltdown, but a silent meltdown. So I think...
Well, so he's looking out from inside their villa, and he's wearing
Yeah.
a Duke shirt, of course, and he starts
course.
imagining basically like what would happen if he did shoot himself. And then, he imagines like Victoria and Piper running in, finding his body, and they're all distraught, and he decides against it, and he hides the gun in a drawer inside the inside the house. And Victoria thinks Timothy is worried about Piper staying in Thailand. She doesn't get that he's worried about the money thing because she doesn't know about it. And so she's like, we'll get her back to Durham and she'll live a normal life like the rest of us. And Timothy's like, I'm not worried in the slightest because
Yeah.
he's like,
Because he's about to blow his
he's
brains
like, let
out.
her stay. Let her stay. She's better off.
Yeah. Doesn't matter to me.
Yeah.
Sounds better than, being a bitch for Kenny and setting up Shell Corporation. So I think he was like, fuck it. But, okay, I can't hold it anymore.
Go for it.
I have a really... What was that, like 10
Yeah.
seconds? I'm like, going to pepper
Good
it
job.
in. I'm just going to throw all the pepper right now. No, I'm just going to do one. So I already said North Carolina, whatever, pressureful situations, UNC versus Duke. Who gives a shit, right? Like, where you end up going. But, okay, we haven't gotten there yet, but the next scene does show some more ass, Lachlan's ass, right?
There's like ass for days in this. I don't.
Yeah, there's ass
Yeah.
for days. So both these guys got some
Yeah.
booty, so I can see why they were cast as brothers. But all that to be said, there are Pakistanis that marry cousins.
Okay, I thought you were
right?
gonna say that have ass, but okay, let's go with that marry cousins. Okay.
Pakistanis don't got booty, man.
Yeah.
Come on, we don't do squats. We take walks around the park with our hands behind our back, like super uncle style,
Yeah, because you got that bridge in your back
hands.
to like the shelf to keep your hands on for that shelf butt.
Yeah, exactly. There's no weight there. They can't even lift their hands. They need to hold it like a shelf, like you just said. So there's no ass. Anyways, the only thing I'm going to say is I'm not going to refer to the elephant in the room, but what's worse?
Your cousin or your
marrying
brother?
your cousin? Yeah. Or jerking off your brother. Come on.
Oh, man.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
What's worse? You give us all
Obviously
this shit
your
all
brother.
these years?
Obviously your brother.
Obviously your brother. That's illegal.
Yeah.
Like in every country.
Yeah.
And B, it's just not natural. You can't even get there.
Yeah.
Like our girl says, there's no drugs in the world
Yeah.
that would make me hook up with my brother.
Yeah.
So what do you think? We've officially deflated this stereotype.
You know, okay.
You can go fuck yourself. Like, there's no more Pakistanis marrying cousins. You can do that all day long. This is a real thing that came from real trauma that Mike White came up with. This isn't some shit that just came out of the blue. This is real life, and he's putting it into the White Lotus because he's been a part of this. He probably had a fucking girlfriend that
had this story. Somebody
that
had this
that
story.
knew too much
Yeah.
about. Yeah. Come on, man. This came from somewhere.
Yeah. All I'll say is I've always said TLC is crazy shit white people do that if brown people did it, they would be like totally discriminated against, but it's quirky and interesting because it's white people. That's what I've always said.
You have said that. And you also bring up the pressure that white people go through to hook up and stuff. And to get to my second point, and I think we've kind of referenced this, like you need to put some restrictions on your kids, right? You can't just teach them that everything's a fucking orgy.
Yeah.
Right? Because Mike White decided to show two brothers who are supposed to go to UNC and Duke and have everything in this entire world jerk each other off. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And there was a woman there. It's like, you didn't need to do that, bro. Like, the bro job was too much.
Yeah. Bro job.
I mean, that's very literal, right?
Okay. Yeah. So
whatever. Okay, let's keep going, man.
Saxon wakes up on the boat and tries to remember what happened last night. He remembers masturbating to his brother having sex with Chloe, and he's totally disturbed.
Which already sucks.
Yeah, which already sucks.
That already sucks.
It's already bad. And then he can't stop thinking about it over coffee. And then Lachlan joins him for coffee, and Lachlan's like, I can't remember anything. And Saxon goes, we both blacked out, because he's like, please don't remember what happened because this is so bad. But he totally remembers.
Worst post-nut clarity in the entire world.
Oh my
That
God.
was the quintessential, our favorite word. Yeah. If I was going to develop a scene and my only goal was to let the viewer see post-nut clarity, it wouldn't be like, somebody hooking up and then they wake up and, oh my God, I had beer goggles. Like, who cares?
Yeah, who cares?
Right?
Yeah.
Fuck it. Like, just go home. You got to live with this kid. This kid's going to be at your wedding.
Every day. Oh, my God.
This kid's going to be at your wedding.
Your kids are going to know him.
Your kids are going to be calling him Uncle, Unk, Daddy, you jerked off Unk.
Oh, my God.
Come on. What, do you want me to move on? Come on.
Yeah. So, I mean, to your point, basically Saxon barfs in the ocean thinking about probably exactly what you're thinking about. And
I ain't thinking about it.
I mean, yeah.
I'm not thinking about the act. I'm thinking about the consequences.
Yeah. So then back at the Ratliffs villa, Victoria tells the brothers that like Piper wants to stay in Thailand for a year and they're going to go to the compound that she wants to stay at so they can check out the guru she wants to study with.
That's some bullshit, dude. Guru. That's some appropriation from India, right?
Well, she doesn't know the difference.
That's ridiculous.
She thinks she's in Taiwan. So what does she know?
Doesn't she say China?
Yeah, and then she said China. She says Taiwan.
Come on.
She says guru.
Yeah.
She says compound. It's, whatever.
Yeah.
So Saxon makes fun of Piper for basically wanting to stay here. And then she goes, oh, so like you're so great because all you do is gamble with other people's money. And I'm like, that's pretty spot on. Good for Piper. And then she asks Lachlan to come with them to the meditation center. And they go. But yeah, she did. She got him. She got him good. So good. He had to turn on the blender to make a protein shake.
Yeah. And then Victoria was just like, Saxon, turn it off. This better be the best Buddhist in China if he's going to take my daughter. And I was sort of like, where's he taking her? I don't think she understands. She literally thinks it's a sex cult. I think like she can't think of any other value that Piper might have.
You're right. I think she does think that anybody would look at Piper and want to fuck Piper because Piper's so hot. Also, I'll be honest. I think this is a kind of like racist adjacent white woman thinking that all brown people want to fuck her white kid. You know, I think it's that.
Wow.
So
I was going to sort of say the same thing. There's more to Piper than her being potentially sex trafficked at a monastery.
And there's more that
pretty legitimate.
There's more that someone in Thailand or any other brown quote unquote shithole country has to offer to like somebody that's a white young woman, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I would highly encourage everyone here to get out of their bubble and go talk to people outside this country. This country is more sex starved than other countries. And what we perpetrate by our travels to Thailand, hello, losers back home. Don't forget our part in all of this, okay? So I think you might be right. Maybe she is the shooter and she just goes nuts.
Maybe.
After all, my baby.
Yeah. You're not staying in Thailand.
Get out of China now.
Yeah, oh my God.
I don't know.
So they end up going to the meditation center, and Piper has her family basically sit at a table outside while she goes and meets her teacher first because she wants to prep him for how insane they are. And so she gets emotional and she starts like talking to him about how they're going to ask him difficult questions, but she really wants him to put them at ease so that they won't make it difficult for her to come back in the summer for the intensive program. And the Buddhist spiritual teacher, he's like, sure, I'll talk to your parents, you know? So she goes out to get them, and Victoria's like wandering around, snooping around, like doing whatever. So Timothy's like, whatever, I'll go inside. She wanted me to talk to him anyways. So he goes inside, and he's, of course, completely absorbed in his own problems. So he starts talking to the Buddhist spiritual teacher about like, you know, about about what happens. And so he's like, people end up chasing pleasure, but when they reach it, they realize they still have pain and you can't outrun pain. And I'm like, oh, that's kind of interesting. And that's, I think, what's happening with Piper is she has everything she would want, but she doesn't feel happy. And so she's searching for something, right? Like inner peace or whatever. And so Timothy asks the teacher, what happens when you die? And he's like, when you're born, you're a droplet that separates from the mass of the ocean. And as you die, you go back into the ocean, which is like one whole consciousness, and you don't have that separation anymore. Basically, death is a happy return and a homecoming. And I feel like this was the wrong person to give that message to. Like,
I mean, but Timothy's going to join the monastery, right? You can see how this scene was set up. He goes in to express concern about his daughter. He didn't ask about his daughter.
Yeah.
The monk says, you would like to know why.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't even ask. So, hey, is Timothy joining this monastery?
Yeah.
Right?
You know, I think you're right. Like, I would definitely say let's jot that down as a hypothesis because it might just be true. I mean, if he goes back to the U.S., he's going to go to jail, right? So suddenly the monastery is looking real good, huh, Timothy?
I mean, the monk is saying chasing money and pleasure. Everyone can run from pain, like you said, towards pleasure. But the only way to get there is to find out more pain.
Yeah.
And I think, it's a very direct cut into Timothy.
Yeah.
Like he stabbed him, basically. And he's like, you motherfucker, you got everything you wanted. You wanted a little bit more. And now you invited all this pain into your life. And then just to further push the knife in, then he says, no more suffering, one consciousness if you do die. And I think that's why Timothy is like, okay, should I kill myself or should I join the monastery?
Yeah.
So I think this is a either or situation right now.
Yeah, I totally agree. So then Timothy comes out and he tells Victoria that, the teacher seems really nice. And she's annoyed, but she says, okay, I'll go along with this. If Piper stays the night here and she still wants to come back for a year, then I'll shut up, basically.
Smart.
And
it's a smart move.
Yeah, I think so too. I think so too.
Finally. Yeah, it's probably the smartest thing she's done with her kids.
Yeah, and so...
But she's not doing it to be smart. She's doing it to, like, fuck with her, and she wants it to be terrible.
Yeah,
so.
and I think Piper's kind of, like, thrown off guard, too, but she's like, okay. And then, like, Victoria basically did a tour while they were talking to the spiritual teacher, and she obviously knows that it's not very comfortable, and she's hoping that Piper will hate it. But I feel like... Okay, so... We've been to third world countries as kids who had nice lives over here. And it's not super comfortable all the time. But I've been to Thailand. I've been to the Philippines in the summers. I've been to places that, frankly, I can't go anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, and you don't die, okay? Like if you're hot,
you're
hot for a long time, you're not going to die. You're going to be okay. Like a little discomfort is probably good for children, to know what the fuck's up in the world,
No, I think so. I think if I didn't go to a third world country when I was younger, I don't think I'd have the perspective on life that we do now. I don't even think I'd be doing this podcast. That's how deep it runs, right? So those sort of experiences are vastly more ingrained in my head than any experience I had in the US, unless there's like some big school thing or something like that. But I don't know. We don't get typical experiences here. So yeah, dude, I don't know what it's like to be in poverty, so I can't really say. I mean, obviously nobody wants to be in poverty. Victoria does have a point. This fear thing is something that I think is really ingrained in American culture. I've had many different jobs, and the last 12 years have been great. But one time when I was 29, 30 years old, I joined a place in Los Altos, California, and I think it was a cult. Mm-hmm. And the theme of that cult was, give me a percentage of your income and I'll tell you how to become successful. So this guy, Toby, it was a fake name. His real name I'm not going to say, but he would go by Toby because he thought it made him seem more relatable. Every single thing about this was super culty. But the one thing that we would say behind the scenes was, they're not scared enough. Mm. They're not scared enough. They're not scared enough. How do we scare them more? Them meaning our clients, and how do we get more percentage of their income? So this fear thing is like pretty ingrained, I think. They're scared of everything. And I know we're not political here, but the discourse in this country, a lot of it does come from fear, right? Like the unknown, I would say, more so than fear. So it's pretty easy.
But I think also
to make a buck.
Sure. But I think also this particular commentary, I think, is not just about Americans. This is about like elite people everywhere, right? People that have the most have the longest way to fall. And so that's why they're the most scared, because they're the least able to deal with discomfort. Right. And so I think that that's basically what it is. And she ends up saying that. So like back at the villa, Victoria basically starts yelling at Timothy for encouraging Piper to stay in Thailand. And she's like, what's next? Yeah. Bongos in Times Square? And
hell yeah.
And she's like, I don't want her thinking she'll be fine if she's poor. She needs to fear poverty like everyone else we know. So just like you're saying, right? And then Timothy goes, we want our kids to be resilient. What if we lost everything? And she's like, we're not going to lose everything. And if we did, I don't think I'd want to live. At this age, I just don't think I have it in me. And this, again, you could see the knife going further and further into Timothy. He's like literally dying inside.
Man, that's a great quote.
Yeah.
But you have so far to fall if you're so high. And I get it. Victoria's literally high and figuratively high. So she's going to fall from both the lorazepam and the wealth. But I think we talked about this with episode 5 and what is enough, right? And that one we labeled excess. And right after this, Saxon is like, my serotonin levels are low. Right? At the pool. So we're continuing this theme of excess, but now we're exploring themes of despair and
the fall, right?
And the fall. Like, don't let the door hit you on the way out, dude. I don't care if people fall.
You know what their fall reminds me of?
Didn't do it on your own.
Yeah. So remember at the amusement park, Great America in the Bay Area, and there's that ride Drop Zone where like you just like drop like 100.
Fuck that ride, by the way.
But that's what I feel like is happening with them. They're just like losing their shit, like their stomachs like coming out their mouth. They're like falling into the abyss of the actual little people of the world. Yeah.
But you fall like after a few fake falls though, right? So we've seen the setup of the fall, right? You start at the top and it goes down like 10% and then you go back up, like the drop zone. And then finally when you hit 30%, then it just drops. So they tease you. They make you fear drop zone, and this is what Timothy's going through. That's a great analogy. Hey, Santa Clara, California, shout out.
Yeah, Great America, woohoo.
Let's go.
So Saxon goes to sit by the pool next to Chelsea, and she asks him if he's okay because he seems like kind of freaked out. And he says, I just don't understand why you didn't hook up with me. He's totally trying to like cover it up with machismo.
Can we stop there? I'm sorry. I don't want to cut you off, but let's go in a little bit on this fucking idiot. I can't believe you didn't hook up with me.
He's covering
the balls.
He's covering up his like incest with machismo.
Yeah, he's like, I could have fucked her too.
Yeah. Well, no, I think.
Well, I guess he didn't fuck Chloe.
I
though,
think
so,
he's talking about
yeah.
insecurity, right? Like, I think he's talking from a place of insecurity, because if she did, he would have probably gone off with her, and Lachlan would have been with Chloe, and maybe it wouldn't have happened, right? So he's trying to.
Oh, I see. He's blaming her. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Always blame the woman, man. You're the one getting jerked off by your bro. You don't stop talking about sex with your bro. What do you think is gonna happen?
Yeah, and then.
Like, you're going to become enmeshed,
But it's
right?
Chelsea's fault.
Yeah, it's Chelsea's fault for not cheating on Rick.
Yeah.
Come on, man. That's his soulmate, by the way, okay?
Yeah, that's her soulmate, yeah.
I thought it was cute. I'm not with anyone, but if I was, she better be saying that shit if Saxon is, like, hitting on her, right? If I'm not around.
Yes.
I'm very machismo as well. I'm very protecting.
Oh my God. Okay, so basically Chelsea's like, I have a soulmate and having sex with you would be an empty experience. So she goes in on him, which I love. And he's like, how do you know? And she's like, because you're soulless.
Damn.
Yeah. I was like,
got him.
Exactly.
Is he not, though?
He totally is. He's completely soulless.
And you know what's hilarious about that scene is I don't think that line needed to be in there because everybody around the world knows this guy was cast to be a soulless frat bro.
Yeah.
So she didn't need to say it, but I think we needed to hear it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it was nice to hear. So Chloe comes by and they talk about how Saxon had a threesome, right? And he says he's never had one with a guy. And they're like, well, you did last night with your brother who jerked you off.
Oh.
And he's so disturbed because now he finally knows the truth. Like this thing that's been plaguing him all day, they finally tell him on his face. And he's feels like complete shit. And then Chloe's like, there's not a drug in the world that would make me get with my brother, which is exactly what you said earlier. And then Chloe's like, you know what? We'll drop it if you come by for dinner tonight with your brother. And so he goes back to the house and he invites his dad and he invites the whole family.
Like, what are you doing, bro? Like, what are you doing? I would never go. Would you go? I would never go. I wouldn't leave the hotel room if I got jerked off by my brother in Thailand. You know what? I think I'd probably fly home. There's no way I would go to another party. Like, I wouldn't drink again.
Yeah.
Like, you just got roofie, drugged.
Yeah, you're right.
All kinds of stuff. He's blaming the drugs. There was a dead pufferfish, by the way, on the beach.
Yeah, totally,
that we don't know what that represents. Every single part of this is run, bro, run. And he's like, hey, Dad, you want to go party to this? I'm like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about?
Insane.
You're going to go, your dad that's about to blow his brains out, or then blow the wife's brains out. Come on, man. You know what's going on here, by the way? I told you I was going to look up what killings are based on different families. So I know nobody's killed each other in this family. I don't think they do, but if they do, familicide is a multiple victim homicide where a killer's spouse and children are slain. But the act of a parent killing their child, that's filiacide. But the act of killing one's husband, if it is Victoria because she goes nuts, that's mariticide.
Mariticide or something?
Dude, am I dumb? Why can't I say words? Mariticide. Yeah, you're probably right.
I don't know.
Mariticide.
I don't know.
Mariticide. So let's keep an eye out. Is Timothy going to commit mariticide? Sorry, is Victoria going to commit mariticide?
Or is Timothy going to commit it? Who knows?
Oh, killing a wife? I don't think that has a name. I think that's just like dumb.
That's just patriarchy? That's just toxic masculinity.
Look, it's not in here. I'm going through a freaking list. It's like the act of killing one's nephew, the act of killing one's father, the act of killing one's elderly family members. I'm going through an entire list. It's just the patriarchy.
That's really fucked up.
The dad just gets to kill, so he doesn't have a word for it.
Wow, that's really fucked up.
Sorry for going all true crime, but I heard podcasts and true crime go hand in hand, so I just wanted to throw all that out there.
Nice. Timothy's on board with coming to the party, but when Saxon asks him, he's like snapping out of like zoning out, like imagining, because Victoria said all this crazy stuff about how she'd die if she lost everything. He dreams about like shooting her and then shooting himself. And then Saxon asks him and he like snaps out of that. And he's like, sure, a party sounds fun.
He needs it, right? Like, what are you going to do? Like, I don't know. So I don't want to go back to the bro job thing, but I told you I was going to pepper some stuff in, right? So my second thing about this is on episode 2, I talked about my UC Davis roommate flashing me in the morning, flashing me in the evening. There wasn't a time component to it. I think he just did it when I walked by. I think he wanted me to stroke him after watching this.
I think you're just,
I think this is like
maybe
a real
you're just
thing.
triggered and traumatized by White Lotus.
I think there's too many connections here. I think this is a real thing. I think it's not talked about. I think that's why they deflect and say other races do this, other races do that. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to turn this into a weirdo thing, but this doesn't just come out of nowhere. And bro jobs is not my thing.
What?
Bro jobs is a real thing in frat culture.
For your actual
But I think
brother,
it more-
or it just means guys with each other?
Guys with each
okay,
other. It's
that's-
like the Kuwait, Saudi Arabia thing, right? Where they jerk each other off, right? I think this is like a real thing.
Yeah.
I think there's an escalation that exists here. If it wasn't Lachlan, it would have been somebody else, right? And I think my roommate validates all this for me.
Well, I think
Former
there
roommate.
is, like I said, there's like toxic families where boundaries are blurred and they get blurred in different ways. Like for some people, it's like you get like emotionally enmeshed or you can't make decisions for yourself. Some people, it's like sexually enmeshing, right?
That's a great point. It's like an emotional incest.
Yeah.
I think that's what enmeshment is. And I think I did read up on that. I was going to read up on it a little bit more, but it triggered me from my past a little bit. So I'm not going to say what, who, or
Yeah.
where. So who cares the shit?
Yeah.
So,
Okay. Moving on.
yeah.
So Piper and Lachlan basically attend a meditation session back at the meditation center.
Hey, is Lachlan about to go 2 for 2 with his siblings?
my
I'm
God.
sorry. I'm
Oh.
sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Let's keep going. I'm sorry.
Look, we didn't do
But-
this. This is Mike White's
Hey,
fault.
we didn't do
is
this.
totally Mike White's
Hey.
fault.
She looks at him. She's like, you can come meditate with me, little bro. He's like, let's go, big sis.
Oh my God.
Hey, you put it in my head.
Yeah.
I didn't do this. I don't have a dirty mind. Not like this.
So,
Come on.
during the meditation session, Lachlan starts remembering his night with Chloe and Saxon, and the leader of the meditation is like, "Let your thoughts pass by and let them go." So he's like trying to do that, but obviously really disturbing, and it's wearing on him. So
Yeah.
and then we kind of just that's where we leave that.
Lachlan about to get to second base with his sister at the
Oh my
monastery.
God.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Am I sorry? I'm probably not.
This is just insane.
What do you want me to say? Dude, I wrote these jokes down. Just let me throw them
Sure,
out.
just throw them out. You're good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Second base at the monastery was when she asked him, "Can you come with me?" to tell the parents. And I was like, "Dude, she's looking at him too lovingly."
I don't know, man.
Okay, let's keep going.
Yeah. So once these boundaries,
I wanna get to
once
Belinda and
these
porn stars so
boundaries are
bad.
broken, they're just broken. Like there's no coming back from this.
It's
It's
a
a
flood.
flood. It's a flood of
it's like,
incest.
how can you ever? Yeah. Flood of incest. That's, you know what? Let's rename it. Let's
Flood
fuck
of
it.
incest.
Flood of incest. Emotional emesh. We'll
Is
even
it
rhyme
a
it.
incest tsunami? Oh man.
Oh, man. Only in America. I don't want to get caught fucking my brother in America. Look, it wouldn't happen anywhere else. I'm sorry. I'm only getting this from the White Lotus, everyone. Please don't get too upset. Like, we're literally just going in on the White Lotus.
Yeah.
This isn't, please know that this, why do I have to say this
all
every time?
all the discrimination we've ever felt in our life is coming out right now.
Yeah. And
all the time,
Sorry.
all the times
Yeah.
people shamed us for like not having sex or whatever, and it's
Yeah.
like, you know what? At least I don't fuck my brother. You know, like
yeah, I don't. Definitively, hey, we don't.
Yeah.
There's nothing in history that even suggests that our culture or religion or anything had to do with any of that. And there's plenty of jokes from America about certain states where it's a little bit too legal
Yeah.
and accepted. Okay, so White Lotus, thank you for shedding light on this problem in the United
You know,
States.
there's certain states where it's legal to have sex with animals. Not,
What state is that?
I can't recall, so I'm not going to say. But
I don't want to put you on the spot. Like, what if you knew? What if you knew too quick?
yeah, I know, right?
But anyways, I'm avoiding North Carolina for a while. Other than the last thing I'm going to say about North Carolina. So my buddy Sage, you know, UNC, go Tar Heels. He told me that UNC and North Carolina in general has like the biggest dichotomy between hot women and ugly men in any state. And he travels all the time. He's like, North Carolina women are just so hot. And the men are just like beer bellied, you know,
Oh, interesting.
like North Carolinians. And I was like, I've heard that North Carolina is like a very educated state. So I can see people being well put together. But shit, maybe I will go to North Carolina. Not with any family members, though.
Yeah. And I don't think anyone you're related to lives in North Carolina, so you're good.
No, I'm good. I'm
Yeah.
clear. I'm good to go. Hey, Raleigh, Durham, here I come.
Well, you know, maybe it's fine if you have a beer belly if you are the grandson of the North Carolina governor, right? You have that plantation money, so
oh, man.
It's fine.
You think the former North Carolina governor knew that his great-grandsons were jerking each other off?
Oh, my God.
Because, hey, I've heard shit about the Kennedys, right? All those Kennedys, the kids, rambunctious, womanizers. We know because there's literally one in government that said all this, and there's a lot of different stories about him. The more we talk, the more we're proving our point that this is a real thing.
You know there's that connection between the Kennedys and Saxon.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So anybody that doesn't know, Maria Shriver is a Kennedy, and she got married to Arnold Schwarzenegger, and Patrick Schwarzenegger,
right.
who plays Saxon, is their kid.
Their son.
Yeah.
Yep.
So.
And, okay, are we about to go off the reservation? It just doesn't show up, Shabnam. A bro job just doesn't show up in a scripted television
This is not,
series.
okay, if a bro job is a
much
frat
setup.
term, this is not even a bro job like that.
It's worse. It's like a bro job.
Yeah, it's a real bro job.
Yeah. Come on. I'm so glad we named our podcast Shy After Dark, because in what other world would this fly? I've listened to some vanilla-ass podcasts, man, and we're watching some of the most controversial stuff on television, right? How are we supposed to talk about it? We didn't coin this. We didn't coin porn shy. Man, can we talk about porn shy and Belinda for a minute or something?
Can we skip to the ladies? Let's do the ladies.
Yeah, let's do the ladies. Yeah, let's do the ladies since Valentine already did.
Oh my God.
I'm in it to win it today.
So Kate basically sees Valentine leaving Jaclyn's room in the morning. And at breakfast, Jaclyn obviously doesn't show up. She needs to take a nap because she's tired. So Jaclyn's not there, and Kate tells Laurie about seeing Valentine leave. So Jaclyn's sleeping in but wakes up since her man called her and says his phone died and that's why he didn't call her earlier. They start having phone sex. And at breakfast, Laurie's basically bitching about Jaclyn. She says Jaclyn lives off male attention and that it's pathetic at the age of 45. She's pissed about Jaclyn pushing her to hook up with Valentine and then sleeping with him. And then just then, Valentine comes up to ask if they want any treatments for the day, and Laurie totally gives him the cold shoulder. And then he's dumb enough to be like, Jaclyn didn't make it to breakfast? And Laurie's like, I think she had a late night.
Had too much of that Valentine.
Yeah, it was like, get him in the balls.
So who's wrong in all this?
Jaclyn's just a mean girl. She's like a typical mean girl bitch, you know?
And then the gaslighting that comes that you're about to describe that's fucking unreal. Like, it's just, come on.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. So like later at the pool, Laurie asks Jaclyn, how was last night with Valentine? And then Laurie's like, do you and Harrison have an open relationship? And Jaclyn's getting like
super sensitive, defensive, very typical, like, I can't
She's
do
getting
anything
like
wrong.
a fire up her ass, basically.
Fire up her ass. You're the issue, Laurie. Come on. Come on.
She's like, no. And then Laurie's like, what happens in Thailand stays in Thailand. And
she's the one that said it. Jaclyn's the one that said it. So this is what I don't understand about all this. You're very open about how your single friend should have sex. But you had sex.
It's all projecting.
And then and then it just goes out the window. Now we can't talk about sex. Just because you did it, like, it's obvious you did it. Also, come on, you had a glow on your face walking up when you're supposed to be all hungover and shit. Come on.
So basically they bicker and Laurie's like, guess we haven't changed since high school. And Kate is like super annoyed.
What happened in high school?
Exactly. But Kate's annoyed at Laurie for bringing it up to Jaclyn. I hate the Kates of the world. Although I was like, if I had to describe myself as one of these women, which one would I be? Definitely not Jaclyn. I'm not totally like a Kate. I'm not that much of a little bitch, but I'm also not as ballsy as Laurie. So I'm like somewhere in the middle. That's how I would describe myself. Don't you think?
I also don't think you would get caught up in a situation like this, because I don't think your friends are like this.
That's true. Yeah.
So, because I know your friends, and I'm not talking about a sexual situation. I'm just talking about gaslighting in general. I think if you were in this situation, I don't think you would have stayed quiet. I don't think you would have done it like Laurie, but I do think eventually in these 4, 5, 6, 7 days, you would have brought it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I think this is, especially her being married or having a boyfriend. I don't actually know. Are they married?
I think it's just a boyfriend.
Harrison? Yeah. And then he calls. He's like super sweet. He's like, sorry, I was on set, but who knows? Maybe he's fucking around too, but I don't know. Hey, I'm going to say one thing, and this is going to be super controversial. Ain't none of these ladies got asses. Come on.
Look, I'm going to say something even more controversial. None of these ladies have as nice of asses as Saxon or Lachlan, okay? those guys have ass for days, and these girls don't at all. That's all I'm going to say.
Got ass for days and bleep for weeks. Anyways, I already said they didn't have asses. I don't know what I would do with Jaclyn. 5'11", 90 pounds. I'm not body shaming. They're the ones coming out in $800 bathing suits. They're coming out in $1,200 robes, all kinds of fine jewelry, and none of it turns me on. None of it. So, Mike White, again, kudos to you for turning me off from very attractive women, honestly.
Oh, man.
Can we please talk about Pornchai and Belinda now, or do we still have to keep going with these ladies?
I mean, so I think that's pretty much it. They just like bicker some more. They talk some more shit about should they go to Muay Thai or not. And then Laurie's basically like, well, Valentine will be there. And then Jaclyn's like, fuck off, Laurie. And then that's basically the end of that.
So she gets to say it. So Jaclyn gets to say to Laurie, Valentine will be there. You're not allowed to reverse it. I don't think I'd ever be in a situation like this because I don't think I'd ever be friends with someone like this. I would already know, right? And I would have already moved on, but I'd be long fucking gone, especially if you have your own villas and stuff and Jaclyn paid for it. I would like charge everything to her room. I would just fuck with her every which way I can. I'd go to Rick and be like, hey, get me a snake. Like I would do anything.
Well, and then Kate goes back in Jaclyn's room to soothe her or whatever, which is fucking stupid. She's a bitch. She doesn't need it.
So stupid.
But then Jaclyn complains to Kate and like walks away from Kate. And she's like, I didn't think I'd have to worry about my friends talking shit about me. It's like, really? Because all you guys do is talk shit about each other. That's literally the basis of your friendship. But okay.
She's an actress, dude. She got caught, right? So she has to get all dramatic and shit. So fuck off, Jaclyn.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Totally.
And you ain't got no ass either. Hey, Saxon got that booty. And you know what, Shabnam, you made a great point in that first or second episode where you said there used to be hair there, but now that it's very obvious that there's not. Lachlan seemed like he's just smooth.
Yeah, right? See, it's a different kind of ass, right?
There's a different kind of ass, I didn't pause it because I'm not sure. I'm assuming this kid's over 18, right? They wouldn't put
I think he is.
On TV,
I'm pretty sure,
right? Because okay, there's no fucking way that I'm rewinding it. So
it
was already too
or
creepy,
they had a stunt double, an ass double. Like, because if he's if he's under 18, they probably need to have an ass double.
Yeah. But it wasn't an ass double for Patrick Schwarzenegger because there's a quote from Arnold Schwarzenegger basically saying, you didn't tell me that this was going to happen. Because I think they're not allowed to say, right? Like, you can't, like, you're under NDAs and stuff. So.
Now his dad's seen his ass, too. Like, what the fuck is this?
So his fake brother jerked him off and his real dad has seen his ass. Okay, what's next? Do we care what's next? I don't think we care what's next. I don't even want to make that joke.
Let's go to,
maybe I will
let's go to Belinda.
Yeah, let's do, okay, fine. Let's go.
Okay.
I'm quiet. Hey, you have my undivided attention. You have my undivided attention.
So Belinda wakes up naked with Pornchai sleeping on her tits. And
can you say that again?
Belinda wakes up naked with Pornchai sleeping on her tits. And then...
All right, see you in a few minutes.
and then Zion arrives early for some reason and ruins the whole mood. And he opens the door and then he's like, Mom, do you need a minute? And then she's like, yeah. And then she like takes a minute and like shoos Pornchai away. Like, poor guy. He's like, just...
That is how you have a healthy enmeshment with your mommy. Not like Victoria and Saxon. Yeah. That's how you do if there's some sex stuff involved. Okay, be mature, walk away.
Yeah, exactly.
If this was like Victoria and Saxon, she would have been giving him pointers.
And
she'd be like, no, you're not doing it right.
Like joking, giggling, and
laughing. Yeah. I like this scene.
Yeah.
Let's be adults. Shut the door, walk away.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't get up in that business.
Exactly. So then Belinda and Zion have breakfast and they talk about getting ass. Okay, so would you... I mean, I'm not even going to ask you the obvious question because we would not talk to our parents about getting ass. Never have, never will. Yeah. But I mean, no immigrants' children are going to talk to their parents about getting ass.
About getting ass. Yeah. I mean, I think this is a little bit more innocent than the way the Ratliffs are doing it. I think he means he can't get a girlfriend.
I totally get that. And it's...
Yeah, I understand. I do understand.
The Ratliffs make everything look like, you know... sunshine and picket fences.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, it's just like, and it's innocent. It's normal. It's just different than my life experience. Right. But,
but I also think like the reason why he brings it up is because he caught his mom in an intimate act.
Yeah.
Right? So I think if he had not, it would have been a very simple thing to say, I can't get a girlfriend.
Yeah.
Right. And I kind of do think a child of immigrants in their early 20s could say, I'm having a tough time with my love life
totally,
to their immigrant
of course,
parents.
yeah.
I think you could say that. I think you can't say, oh my God, I haven't fucked in 2 weeks. I'm so horny. I need to fuck this weekend.
Yeah.
And you know what? I've heard that too from some people to their parents.
Yeah.
So we can move on again.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So then Belinda basically tells Zion, look, first you get the money, then you get the power, then you get the woman.
Yeah.
And then he's like, oh.
Scarfaced him.
Yeah, she scarfaced him. He's like, oh, what are you, a gangster now? And she's like, you got to be gangster around here. And then, like, you know, she's like, I'll tell you more later or whatever. Because Fabian comes up on them to invite Belinda and Zion to the restaurant later that night because he's going to sing. And then it gets really awkward because of the whole Gary thing that he's kind of treated Belinda like shit about. So she's just like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
So
what is this sneaky bastard up to?
I don't know. He's a weirdo.
This little Fabian dude. He's like in 30 seconds every episode. What's he up
Is
to?
he the shooter?
Oh. It's like, is he the honeypot?
I don't think he's a
Or is it
honeypot.
Mook?
He's not that hot.
Oh, my bad. Hey, I'm confused. I don't know what is attractive and what's not. And how would I know?
After this episode.
Do you know?
Yeah, after this.
After this episode? I mean, is Chelsea attractive? Is Chloe attractive? I don't know what is going on.
Yeah.
We haven't even gotten to Rick and his buddy yet and all that shit from the last episode. So, again, Belinda, Zion, Pornchai, very innocent. My favorite characters.
Yeah.
Other than Dr. Amrita, who was not in this episode, but still my favorite.
Yeah. So Belinda heads to her training session, and Pornchai there, he tells her that since it was her dream to open a spa, she should do it with him in Thailand and do other stuff with him in Thailand too. And yeah, he's like, it'll be cheaper and easier.
First comes the chai, then comes the porn.
Oh, man. So then Belinda runs into Gary after the training session, like as she's walking through the resort, and he invites her and Zion to dinner. She tells him, look, Zion's jet lagged. I'm not coming. She's basically trying to find any excuse not to go. And he tells Belinda, I think we should talk. Last house on the hill, come anytime. And she's like shaken as she walks away. And then at her villa, like Zion's like, okay, what's wrong? But this is kind of crazy because they have 2 invitations for dinner by 2 weird ass people.
Gary invites Belinda directly, so he's going to kill her at the villa?
I don't know. Or is he going to give her money? Because from, like, that would be nice, wouldn't it be? Like, is he going to give her some of
interesting
Tanya's money?
He might buy her
Yeah,
off.
or buy her off or whatever. Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting. I would find it hard to believe that it's this obvious because recapping season 1, we didn't know it was going to be Armand.
Yeah.
And recapping season 2, we had no idea it was going to be gay gangsters getting shot up.
Well,
right?
basically, what you call it? Tanya going John Wick and then dying herself.
Yeah, exactly. Like, so what can this be, right?
I don't know.
Don't you think it might be too obvious if it's Gary just going after Belinda and then Zion comes and saves her, or Gaitok comes and saves her? It's a little, it's too like,
it's I think there's something more there.
Yeah, I don't get it. Yeah, it's got to be like Victoria going nuts, or it's Laurie or Jaclyn, or even Kate. Kate's getting really fucking weird.
Yeah,
right?
totally.
Mook makes an appearance again.
Yeah, so let's talk about
honeypot
that.
Mook over here. Yeah.
So Gaitok basically.
Let's talk about Gaitok, fucking Inspector Gadget over here.
I know. So Gaitok,
this dude can't do anything.
Yeah. So like in the morning, Gaitok's boss comes up to him and is like, "Look, tonight we're gonna take the gun to the gun range, and I'm gonna teach you how to shoot." And he's like, "Okay," even though he doesn't have the gun. He like doesn't have the gun anymore because Timothy has it. So Gaitok basically is like lurking around the resort trying to figure out what to do, and he runs into Mook as he's sort of like outside the Ratliffs villa, and he tells her that he's gonna see her tonight, but after he goes to the gun range with his boss Pilek, and she's like, okay, cool. She leaves. So he sneaks into the Ratliffs.
No. Hey,
What?
hold on. She gets excited.
Yeah.
She doesn't say whatever and leaves. She's like, are we still on for tonight? And we wondered if she ever accepted the date, and she did.
Yeah.
And she's excited.
That's right.
But she's too excited.
Yeah, and
the gun comes into play, and she gets more excited.
Like, oh my God, they gave you more responsibility? And she's like, yeah.
Come on. Exactly. Yeah. this is a honeypot situation. There's something weird here. She's too innocent. She's too perky.
Yeah, and she's too into him.
She's too
It's
perfect.
like she's playing him. Doesn't it feel like that?
She's playing him. Yeah. She's too perfect. It's too perfect.
So then she leaves, and Gaitok basically, he sees that Saxon was like fucking off to the pool with Chloe and whatever. So he realizes that Villa's empty. He goes inside and he sneaks around, looks at everything. He's trying to find the gun. He pulls open a drawer, and it's the one with the gun in it. And so he grabs the gun and he starts walking out, and he closes the gate. He's like, heartbeat, even my heart was beating super fast. And like as he gets like far enough away, he sees Timothy and Victoria walking back towards the villa, and they obviously don't notice him because he's the help. No one notices the help, right, in their world. So they just like keep walking, and he like got the gun back, and he ends up going back to his security station. And Pilek is waiting for him in there. And he's like, I've been looking for the gun. The gun's lost. And Gaitok's like, oh, it's right here with me. And then Pilek is like, oh, great. I thought it was stolen. And it's like a LOL moment. But you're like, oh, my God, this is so crazy.
I mean, he's got the gun back now, right?
Yeah.
So shit, what happens now? Timothy doesn't have the gun anymore. So maybe it's not Victoria.
Yeah, who knows now? But then he goes actually to the shooting range. And Pilek's like, you're a good shot. Yeah, he's killing it. But then he's like... But when push comes to shove, do you have the balls to shoot someone? Gaitok says he does, but I don't know.
We don't know.
Yeah. So then we see Chloe, and Chloe tells Chelsea that Gary is mad that she hooked up with brothers.
Uh-oh.
She says even though she complains about him, it's like a good situation, and basically she likes the money, right? She doesn't want to fuck up her money situation. So then she goes back to Gary's house, and he asks her which one of the brothers she fucked, and she doesn't really say yes, but she doesn't really deny it fully, and he's not really that upset. But then he's like, okay, whatever, just invite them over for dinner tonight because I need your help with something. It's like, dun, dun, dun. Okay, so he's setting up this dinner.
This is what we just said, right? It seems too obvious that... So he's going to blast Belinda and the brothers and everybody, but this isn't where the shooting happens, right? So it's supposed to be at the resort. So we have no clue what this dinner is going to be.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Maybe it's going to be like The Menu with Ralph Fiennes. Have you seen that movie?
No. Oh yeah.
It's a fucking creepy ass movie.
I've seen it. I've seen it.
You've seen it. Yeah.
It's crazy.
He's gonna invite them over. He has like this dope ass dinner party, and he just starts blasting everyone.
Crazy. Yeah. So then we get all the scenes with Rick, right? And so first, Rick and Chelsea talk to each other on the phone. They finally get in touch with each other, and she gives him shit about partying in Bangkok, and he's like, I didn't even party. And she's like, bad things come in 3. So much superstition in this. So like, I don't know. It's obviously there's more bad things are going to happen, and they're going to come in 3. So then Rick meets Srithala, and Srithala. And she...
No, it's Srithala.
No, it's Srithala.
No.
Yes.
It's Srithala. I don't actually know what it is.
It's Srithala.
Okay, I got it. Yeah. Srithala.
You keep putting the emphasis on tha. It's the emphasis is on la. Srithala.
Srithala. Okay, let me try it again. You're right. I just want to get to the T really quick.
Srithala. You have to like drop the
Srithala.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Rick meets Srithala, and she asks where his friend is, the director. And he says the director wants to get to know you better by meeting you in your habitat, your own home. And she says her husband's at her house and he's not really well. And Rick insists, and he's like, we'll just come by for a drink, and it's a big Hollywood production and you should really be a part of it. And so she agrees and she goes along with it. So then Rick meets up with Frank, aka Sam Rothwell, and asks him for help. And Frank's really reluctant because he thinks Rick is going to kill Srithala's husband. And Rick says, look, I'm not going to kill him. I just want him to know how bad he fucked me up. And so Frank goes along with it. He's like, okay, fine. So they head over to Srithala's house. They take this boat to her giant ass immaculate mansion with bodyguards all around. And she greets Frank and introduces her husband as he's coming down the stairs. And Rick is looking on, and we don't get to see who he is.
Yeah, and it fades out, right?
Fades
That's how the episode ends. Hey, that's a lot of work to get into someone's house as a white man in Thailand. I don't think you need to say you're a movie producer or movie director.
Yeah.
Seemed a little strange. So I understand she was an actress in the past, but it was hilarious. She's like, the movies weren't that good.
Yeah.
Which ones has he seen? So I think she's starting to become suspicious.
Yeah, she is. Yeah, she should.
But she still likes the validation, right? So she's like, yes, come over and still suck me off. So we'll see where this goes. But I told you,
maybe the name of this episode should be "Come Over and Still Suck Me Off." That's
okay. So
okay,
that's great.
Let's
okay,
do tea
Shabnam
time.
just said, "Come over." Wait, let me rename the episode really quick. So yours was Brothers Bang a Lot.
Brothers
right?
Brothers Bang Abroad.
Yeah, Brothers Bang Abroad, and mine is just simple. I'm actually gonna just keep the name that I had. Was it worth it? That's it.
Oh man,
that's the name of the episode. Was it worth it?
Oh man,
because when Saxon comes on that walk of shame, you think he's ever gonna forget that walk of shame?
Okay, another name.
Yeah.
Drop Zone.
Yeah, Drop Zone's cool. I hope Drop Zone is like the 8th episode.
Yeah.
We could probably rename the 8th episode if we do get a lot of shenanigans and destruction.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Brothers bring say that 10
Brothers
times.
Bang
Brothers
Abroad.
Bang Abroad. Or was it worth it?
Yeah, I like that.
Saxon, was it worth it? Okay, cool. Let's do some tea
okay,
time.
yeah, tell us, give us a tea.
All right, cool. So we've already said this. You know, we love watching these shows. We love hopping on and we chit chat and we talk. But, you know, we do have Google in front of us. And Gaitok, 35 years old. He's from London, born and bred. His name is Tame Tap Thim Thong.
Tame Tap Thim Thong.
Yeah.
All right.
Just keep going. We're going to keep going.
Let's go.
We can't
We
do
have
this.
Porn
Yeah,
Chai. This is a real person's name.
Yeah, we already
okay,
have Porn
we're not
Chai.
going to do it.
So he's a former club bouncer and military man. He got into the military in England, and he was, like I said, born and bred in England. And then he went to Thailand to kind of like star in a reality show. He joined the Thai army.
Oh, wow.
He was special forces in Thailand.
What? That's crazy.
As a Londoner. That's
incredible.
Yeah. So then he obviously got this job. This is his first major role. But his claim to fame, I guess, before all of this was, and I don't know who this rapper is. The rapper is named Way, W-A-Y.
Okay.
So Tame Thim Tim Thong was his personal bodyguard.
Oh, my God. Okay.
Yeah.
Rapper Way, W-A-Y?
Yeah. Yeah. Look him up.
Okay.
Who is he?
He is.
It's Da Boy Way,
Da Boy
right?
Way. You're right.
Yeah. D-A.
B-O-Y.
B-O-Y.
W-A-Y.
W-A-Y. Da Boy Way. So that's our boy Gaitok.
Yeah. That's pretty badass. So
Yeah.
Gaitok,
So this dude's an actual.
he might be a
he's an
bitch on the
actual
show,
badass.
but he's a badass in real life, right? That's
Hey,
the tea.
Him. Also, that is the tea, and I was gonna do a secondary tea. Is this Love Island or Temptation Island or White Lotus? Because who's not hooking up? Belinda and Porn Chai got it,
Yeah.
right? Mook and
Mook's being
Gaitok are
yeah.
apparently about to get it.
Yeah.
You know?
Saxon and Lachlan got it.
I didn't want to say it, but you can say that. I already said enough of that. But this was a crazy episode, right? I mean, I don't even know what to say. I think I said enough.
Look, no one
I think
can
we should
say
just
this
jingle
season
out.
is boring. Weird as fuck, 100%.
No.
Boring, no.
Yes. Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And you know what? Episode 5, we said the same thing.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a slow burn. That went quick. Today went quick. I watched it right before we hopped on. That's probably why I was a little hot with the enmeshment and emotional incest, but whatever.
And
what
physical
am I saying? It's not even
incest.
emotional.
Yeah. Sexual,
Yeah,
actual
what am I
incest.
saying? Like, I'm trying to give these fuckers a
No.
pass. Whatever. Let's jingle out of here. Hey, everybody follow Chai After Dark on all socials, chaiafterdark.com, chaiafterdark@chaiafterdark.com. You can email us. Follow us, Chai After Dark, on Instagram, Facebook, Blue Sky.
TikTok. And don't forget to rate us 5 stars on Spotify, Apple, anywhere you listen to your podcast. On Apple, if you go there, you can also write us a little review. We'd love to hear what you like. You don't need to tell us what you don't like. We'll figure it out from what you don't write. And just give us 5 stars. Tell us what you like. Thanks, guys.
Exactly. Thank you, everyone. Jingle out. Thanks,
Dun, dun,
Shabnam.
dun, dun,
Hey,
dun,
I gotta
dun,
go. Bro
Oh
job.
my God.
Bye.
Real bro job.